fans of really good MMA cards. Welcome back to Naughty Boy Fight Picks. I'm your host, Todd, obviously, louknux, whatever you want to fucking call me. Welcome return to the, I think Mogden was disappointing and this card made up for it. And I guess perhaps over-delivered because there was heaps of concern about this card. You know, it's supposed to be a big one and didn't necessarily come together how you would have liked it to, but it ended up really delivering, I thought. And I had a good night on the bets. How we do? Oh yeah, firstly, yep, as always, thanks for tuning in, thanks for the subscriptions and likes and all that shit, really helps, I appreciate it. But yeah, so going into my picks for the evening, got cashed on the big dog play, Marcus Rogerio de Lima beating Adam Vizorek. So I put 3 units on that and profited 9.15 units, so that was really good. Had a play from a parlay from Gaethje Vic and Adesanya that came in. Parlay on Cormier, Qatar and Adesanya. Just missed a big 5-leg parlay because Arce didn't come in. Missed a 3-leg parlay because Knight didn't come in. And then missed one on Branch too, which was a real big surprise. Totally wasn't expecting him to lose to Cannonier. But there you go. All in, went up 6.35 units. With an ROI of 33%. So I went back up over 80 units on the first bet that cashed. I cracked that top 50 on Bet MMA again, but bombed out when some of them parlays bombed. So all in all, good night out, profitable. I'll take it. I'm happy. And feels good catching those big dogs when you're real sure about it. I should have put more units on because I was super sure. But when the line's so wide, it makes you wonder what you're missing. So didn't back myself fully when I should have. Obviously this is my 230 recap. I should have said that at the very it'll be in the title. I should have said that at the very beginning. So yeah, that's what we're doing. You'll know if you saw the title, which I imagine you did if you clicked the link. Kelleher versus Jackson got cancelled, obviously. As I was just talking about, De Lima beating Adam Vizorek. I wasn't exactly the fight I was expecting. I wasn't expecting De Lima to clinch and employ the ground game so much, but it worked for him. Did seem, and the commentators were saying, that he could have fucked him up on the feet, but kept going to the clinch in the ground. Little bit disappointing, but I mean, when you catch the big dog play, you don't really care how he gets it done. But yeah, I don't know why the line was so wide in Vizorek's favor. I guess he has a nice looking record, but if you just look at his 2 UFC fights, man, it's clear that he's not great. And yeah, I think often you can put a lot of faith in a guy moving up from light heavy to heavyweight, and yeah, that was definitely the case there. Like, De Lima been fighting some tough guys at light heavyweight, and you can do way less at heavyweight and get some wins because the division is fucking gaping with holes in it. So good start for the night for me. Not the greatest fight though. Next fight up was my pick to be fight of the night, but it didn't go long enough. Shane Burgos defeating Kurt Holloway via submission by in the first round. They come out. I was really looking forward to the striking exchanges with these guys. Holloway looked crisper earlier and landed a nice combination on Burgos that dropped him. And Burgos looked like really hurt. He smiled when he hit the ground, smiling at Holloway, and Holloway jumped in his guard. Burgos threw up the legs and got the armbar. Exciting while it lasted, I suppose, but I would have loved to have seen those guys go at least a round, if not 2 or 3, because it would have been really exciting, I think. And yeah, 2 really good guys. That division 145 is so stacked, it's insane. Because these guys might not even get to the top 10, but they're both really good fighters. So bit of a learning experience there for Holloway, and bit of a concern that perhaps, yeah, Burgos, yeah, I don't know, because he's such a fun striker to watch, but he does get hit, and yeah, apparently he hasn't improved that because he got hit fucking early. Next fight up, Matt Frivola versus Lando Venata. What I would deem to be the fight of the night. In the end, a majority draw. Watching it live, I think I had it scored for Venata. Sorry, for Frivola, because I didn't give Venata 10-8 in the second round. I'd have to watch it again to see how I felt about that, but nonetheless, doesn't matter. Great fight. And as always with a Venata fight, exciting. Like, I think he's had, like, coming up to this fight, I think he had 4 out of 5 fights he'd got a bonus. And so interesting what will happen, because he's not winning fights. This is his second draw, I believe. He had the draw with, what's his name, Bobby Green, sorry. So 2 draws and I think, what is it, 2 or 3 losses and then the win in his UFC career so far. But he's so fun to watch, so don't know what will happen. There was talk of a camp change before this fight, going from Winklejohn's over to Cowboys, what is it, the BMF ranch. But yeah, it didn't appear to be too much different from Venata in terms of his strategy or game plan or not getting fucking cracked. So yeah, it would be a real shame if they dropped him, but I don't think they would, just because he's such an exciting action fighter. But I mean, at some point, right, you got to get wins, because that is kind of the objective here. But yeah, we'll see what happens with him. Great win for Frivola. I didn't see that coming. I thought Venata was going to style on him, but apparently not. Next fight up, Lyman Good defeating Ben Saunders. Probably the safest fucking bet of the night. I think it was the widest odds. Good defeating Saunders with a early KO, uppercutting him in the clinch, and Saunders' chin looks so shot, man. Like, yeah, it's horrible watching him get knocked out at this stage. I hope he does retire, because, yeah. Or it's just a weird matchup to put him in with, like, a powerful striker like Lyman Good. That's, yeah, I don't know. Do the matchmakers hate Ben Saunders or something? Because, I don't know. If he does fight again, I would like to see him fight. Oh, I was going to say a jiu-jitsu guy, but that's what happened last, right? Against Moraes. Yeah. Speaking of Moraes, Shaman Moraes defeating Julio Arce via split decision. Someone scored this 30-26 to Shaman, which I thought was insane. I don't think any of those rounds were 10-8s, despite him doing a lot of damage. Guess you can score that damage because it looks so, but it just looks dramatic, right? Like, Arce was fine, there was just heaps of blood. Yeah, this one not going exactly how I thought either. I thought, so watching Arce's fights before this, he does start off a bit slow and needs to get into a bit of a rhythm, and then he can apply pressure real well, and he began to do it in the 3rd round in bursts, and probably enough to take the 3rd round, although it was still kind of close, but it was too late at that stage. But you do see, like, and this, I thought Arce, being from Tiger Schulman, I thought he would have a real, or he would go in and try and apply that pressure game from the beginning, but it was actually Moraes moving forward to begin with. But you see with Moraes, as soon as you start backing him up, man, he gets real uncomfortable. He needs space, and he needs to plant to throw those real powerful strikes. And if you keep him backpedaling, he just doesn't throw anything. If he can't set, he doesn't throw. And yeah, I'm sure we'll see. It'd be interesting to see who he's matched up with next. But as soon as Moraes is matched up with a really good pressure fighter, I'm fading him. But yeah, great win for him. 2 more real exciting guys at 145. I like both of those fighters. And they're both very handsome too. I have to note, when you saw them at the weigh-ins, it's like, oh fuck. These guys are very good looking men. So shout outs to them, and for putting on a great fight as well. It was a good fight. Next fight, Sijara Eubanks defeats Roxanne Modafferi via unanimous decision. What's to say about this fight? I think it went largely like people expected it to. But yeah, not a great night for Eubanks. I think given that she missed weight, she needed to do something spectacular to advance her chances of getting a title shot, because it's looking like she's missed, what is it? I think she's missed weight for 2 out of her 3 UFC fights. So yeah, I think that she was close to a title shot and it's slipping away from her grasp pretty rapidly. So unless they get desperate and they need a challenger, she probably ain't getting a shot anytime soon. Next fight up, this was fucking depressing. Jordan Rinaldi defeating Jason Knight via unanimous decision. Fuck, there was a 30-25 in there. I don't think Rinaldi did enough damage to warrant a 30-25 or maybe even a 30-26, but he did dominate pretty remarkably. Yeah, upsetting because I fucking love Jason Knight, enjoy his style, and he's only young still, but fuck man, you look at his face, it is beat up, and he's taken lots of damage, and he just, yeah, the game plan is out on him, take him down and control him, and he just, I don't know, like, I think before his last fight I was thinking he gives up the takedown, but now I'm wondering if it just is easy to take down. It seems like a bit of a combination of the both, because I don't know, I guess when guys like to play rubber guard and play guard, then you kind of suspect that they don't mind going to their back, but he's got to fucking hate it by now, because he just keeps getting pinned down and losing fights, and like he would have killed Rinaldi on the feet. You saw the early exchanges and Rinaldi didn't have shit there, and yeah, I don't know what's next for Knight now. Like, his case is far worse than Veneta's, because if you're losing to guys like Rinaldi, then who are they going to match you up with? Like, who's he going to beat? I'm sure there's some winnable fights out there for him, but fuck, I wish he'd learned to defend a takedown, because he is a real exciting watch. But yeah, so Rinaldi, and then did Rinaldi say some Christian shit at the end? Yeah, whatever. Next fight of the night, the most exciting point for me, obviously, Israel Adesanya defeating Derek Brunson via first round TKO right at the end of the first round. There's so much to say about this. Yeah, this feels really, really big. Like, yeah, just each time out, Adesanya proves so much more and shows so much more. You know, he finished his first fight, then had 2 decisions, and I think people were thinking, oh, as he moves up, he's not going to be able to finish guys. I heard some talk of that. He doesn't have power or finishing skills. But if you watch his career, and admittedly, you know, this is the UFC, this is a different level. But yeah, this was just fucking sublime. And man, his striking is just so advanced. The subtle footwork, the way he cooks an opponent. Like, I don't think he threw a strike for, or if he did in the first minute or 2, it was very minimal. But he had Brunson reacting to things and was controlling him without even throwing strikes. It's crazy. It's the, like, really, really subtle footwork, and those things that I don't completely understand, I'm not going to pretend to, but you just watch it as fucking wizardry. And you get the impression that, well, I think Brunson looked tense, as he often does, but I think if you're an anxious fighter, then a guy like Adesanya is your fucking kryptonite, because of the confidence, but then the way he implements that confidence, the way he comes into the cage with it and just takes control of the fight by doing very, very subtle things. And yeah, man. And so see when Brunson grabbed the shorts and then they separated, and was it Herb Dean the ref? was hitting him up, and he looked distressed, man. Like, that looked like a desperate man in there. I don't know if I'm reading too much into this, but this is what it looked like to me. He looked desperate. And you got the impression that that is what Israel had been priming him for from the moment the fight was announced, or before it was announced, right, when he started fucking with him on social media. Yeah, and you also get the impression that if you don't get your first takedown on Adesanya, you're going to be in deep trouble. So, like, as a big fan of him and someone rooting for him, watching his fights, when they shoot the first takedown, because I get real nervous watching his fights. Once he defends the first takedown, I can take a big breath and start breathing a bit and getting more and more confident. Because as soon as that happens, it just looks like, okay, you're about to get lost in the sauce now. Yeah, Brunson had a few failed attempts. Israel, beautiful takedown defense, lights out takedown defense, man. His takedown defense is real fucking good, you can say, by this stage. And if you go look at his statistics before this fight, people on average in the UFC were shooting 10 takedowns on him per 15 minutes. So a lot of takedowns being shot on him. That's a lot more than most fighters, I think. And his takedown defense is above 80% and improving each fight. So, fuck, man, he's trouble for that division. Yeah, Brunson fouls on several attempts, and Israel's doing all the right things, underhooking, turning him, separating, and then fuck, the way he's reading the shots coming in, like, it's like he has so much more time than his opponent. And when you saw the slow-mo of that first knee he landed on Brunson shooting, and you look at his eyes where he's looking, and he's just watching Brunson. He's got a moment before Brunson arrives, like he's seeing it, and it's so, yeah, so that slow motion is so sick because you're watching him watching it, and then just timing the knee and pop. And fuck, man, like, it hardly looks like he's putting anything on those shots. When he landed the rear question mark kick followed by the right cross, and the question mark kick appears to kind of like rattle him a bit, and then he just lands the cross right on the end of it on the forehead, and Brunson just drops. Yeah, crazy shit. And that last left too, that was fucking beautiful. Such a nice punch. Adesanya looking incredible, doing his thing, using the mic well. The only real fights I see for him now are either Jacare for the next title shot, but I have no problem with him just being inserted straight as the next contender. I think he has more of a claim than anyone now. Jacare, a guy you'd like to see get that title shot, but he's lost to both Whittaker and Gastelum. But I guess I wouldn't be mad if he got it either. But then, who do you match Israel up with? Because, yeah, I don't think there's anyone he needs to prove himself against now. If Weidman had a won, then that may have been a fight that could have happened down the line. But, yeah, Yoel hasn't been making weight. I'd like to see Yoel move up. What's his name? Costa. But I think they should hold off on that fight. That could be a fight for the future. So yeah, things are looking good for Israel, and as much as I love watching him fight, I think the guy deserves a break. 4 wins in a calendar year in his first year in the UFC. So that's really huge and fucking incredible, man. There's so much to say about it. Just amazing. It feels real big. It feels like we're watching a star on his ascension to stardom, which is real cool for a local guy, and yeah, pretty incredible for this part of the world, and just MMA in general, man. Like, we ain't seen a striker this good in MMA ever. I think it's pretty safe to say that at this point. Speaking of strikers, next fight, Carl Roberson defeating Jack Marshman via unanimous decision. Yeah, expected Marshman to have a big speed advantage, but fuck, he's so fast, man. Like, he looks like that his left looks as fast as Michael Johnson's. I could be getting carried away and exaggerating here, but it's so fast. And given the size of him, man, that punch has got to fucking hurt. And he landed it several times on Marshman, and Marshman just marched forward. An appropriate surname, the Marshman, could be Marchman. But, heaps credit to Marshman, but he got really, really outfought in this fight. And Roberson looked good. Another guy to watch, I guess, like, this division needs that. And in that vein, Jared Cannonier defeating David Branch via second round TKO early on in the second round. And yeah, another one, man. Cannonier looked fast and powerful. Would seem he's found his division, because he hasn't done incredible things at light heavy or heavyweight, and now he's at middleweight. And Branch is fucking good, man. Like, a wily veteran with good all-round skills. Real nice jab. He was using that, and Cannonier got around it and won. Incredible. Co-main event, Jacare Souza defeating Chris Weidman via third round TKO. This fight was fucking crazy. And yeah, maybe it was better than the Venata Frivola fight, but you kind of like want those guys to get the bonuses, I guess. I don't know, I'd have to watch both again, but this was fun, man. Weidman, not very varied in his striking, but he came out looking crisp, landing the 1-2 over and over again. Looked like it was going to be his fight. Souza rallies in the second, and this is just like the mark of a veteran, man. Like, so often you see guys losing, they come out and just do the same thing. Souza upped the ante, got in the clinch more where he was doing better, landing those uppercuts and whatnot. Started throwing that body shot, which looked fucking nasty and appeared to pay dividends later in the fight. And just try to make the fight more scrappy. He got more aggressive and marched forward more, and that gave Weidman some problems. Still though, going into the third, like, Jacare looked so tired, man. He looked exhausted, and you'd see he'd fight in bursts where he gave it shit, and then like he would need to recuperate again. Then Weidman would have a turn, and then Jacare would come back at him. And each time he was doing that, you'd get the feeling that, like, fuck, man, if Jacare could sustain this for longer, he could win this fight. And then in the third round, just, man, fighting on all heart. Not a huge fan of Weidman, but I've got to give him credit here too, because he was exhausted as well. Those body shots must have been killing him. Third round, Souza lands that body shot again. This time comes over with the right and just fucking flattens Weidman. Yeah, and then obviously Dan Mergliotta with... so weird that cunt's got that fake tan. Dan Mergliotta not stopping the fight, where Weidman looked like he was in another dimension, man. Like, that was just crazy. And props to Jacare for trying to get the ref to do his job rather than beating more living piss out of Chris Weidman, because no one deserves that. He was done, man. So done. Don't know how you could look at that man on the ground just staring into space and think, oh, I can give him a chance to get back in this. He was fucking done. Great win for Jacare. Yeah, I don't know what happens with him now. I guess either he's got a case for the title shot, or maybe they do a contender fight against Adesanya. So we'll see what happens there. But I'd like to see Jacare get one more shot. He's pretty fucking old. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like his chances against Adesanya now. But he is crafty. But fuck, you just have to think he would get fucked up on the feet, eh? Main event, Daniel Cormier defeating Derek Lewis via submission. Rear naked choke. I thought I felt an earthquake. We've been having earthquakes lately. And I got a new TV, I don't want to fall over. Oh, it's Guy Fawkes too, so you might hear that outside. Sorry, back to the program. Is that an earthquake? I can't tell if I'm tripping on it. Daniel Cormier defeats Derek Lewis via submission, rear naked choke. Saw lots of people pick this prop bet and got it. I wish I had of, but I didn't, so fuck me. Yeah, much like people expected. I think I'd picked the TKO, but Cormier, yeah, jumped on his back and grabbed the choke. I enjoyed this not because I didn't want to see Derek Lewis do well, but it was a real nice showcase of Cormier's wrestling. And as someone who doesn't know heaps about wrestling, just the display, you were able to see the tricks, and I guess he was able to flex a lot more. Like that ankle pick he did was real cool, and just, yeah, really watching a fucking virtuoso do his wrestling. And yeah, just happy for Cormier, man, that it all went to plan. He got through it, and now he has the Lesnar fight coming up next. And yeah, he got paid and headline MSG, so it was all real cool. And I think Lewis didn't get beat up too bad, which I would have liked to have seen. He gets paid, and yeah, what next for him? People are probably gonna not like the suggestion, but I like Derek Lewis versus Stipe. And the reason for that is, I know this doesn't always work out, but referring to the Ngannou fight, and remember how exhausted Stipe was from holding Ngannou down. I think that could happen against Lewis. But the difference between Lewis and Ngannou is Lewis stays dangerous till the end of the fight. So I think that could make that a compelling matchup. Yeah, I guess I would feel horrible if Lewis just got wrestle fucked for 5 rounds, which I wouldn't want to see. But I do kind of like his chance against Stipe. Like, Stipe ain't no Daniel Cormier. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, Lewis can, I don't know, you kind of feel like he's runner's luck perhaps, and maybe he doesn't get back to the title, but after DC disappears, perhaps he does. We shall see though, but best of luck for him, man. Good for him to get a good spot. He seemed pretty disappointed with the result, obviously, but yeah, what do you expect? So that's it for the whole card. We got the bonuses. Adesanya, Jacare and Weidman, and someone else got a bonus for the finish, right? I can't recall, but yeah, strange news coming out today. What was it? Risen announced that Floyd Mayweather is gonna fight Tenshin Nasukawa, which is so fucking bizarre. No one knows what the rules are going to be, but what the fuck. But I'm real glad for this announcement because it don't really affect me, and it also means that at least in the immediate future there is no Khabib versus Mayweather fight. So that's good news for MMA fans. I just hope they don't make fucking Khabib versus GSP. That would kill me. Fuck that fight. I don't want to see it. Oh, and in regards to that story, the New Zealand Herald today quoted a tweet of mine next to Luke Thomas, whose work I greatly appreciate. So that was kind of cool, but my tweet wasn't cool, so that sucked. If you do want to follow me on Twitter, by the way, it's louknux DTD. Same with my Instagram. I think that's about all. UFC Denver coming up this weekend. I'm most of the way through the card, studying the fights to make some picks, and I've already put some plays down. But I'll endeavour to get that done within the next 2 days. So it's going to be a bit late this week, but we got the Korean Zombie versus Yair Rodriguez, which, yeah, I think Yair is going to lose that, which is a bit of a shame. Cerrone versus Perry should be fun. Pennington versus Durandamy could be a good fight. Benavidez versus Borg. What else we got? Looking forward to seeing Luis Pena again against Trezano. Anyone else in there we like? Fucking De La Rosa versus Espinoza could be a fun fight. and for some fucking reason they've given John Gunther Davi Hamosh. So he is going to get fucking obliterated. Gunther never should have gone to the UFC, but he is a friend of Stipe Miocic. I assume that's why he's there. I can't think of any other reason. But yeah, that's all for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you guys had a good bet tonight. I saw some people really did, so that's great. I'll be back in a couple of days with my picks for UFC Fight Night Denver. Too good.